Welcome to the Step 1 Review Study Guide, and in this lesson, we'll learn about vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 is also called thiamine. Thiamine pyrophosphate is a derivative of B1 that is used as a cofactor for enzymes. These enzymes include branched-chain ketoacid dehydrogenase, alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, pyruvate dehydrogenase, and transketolase, two of which are involved with aerobic breakdown of glucose, all of which are involved with the breakdown of glucose apt. Patients who are deficient in thiamine tend to turn glucose into lactic acid instead of turning pyruvate into acetyl-CoA. This is because the pathway into the TCA cycle requires an enzyme that requires thiamine. Because the TCA cycle is aerobic, a vitamin B1 deficiency will affect highly aerobic organs first, like the brain and the heart. Giving patients glucose who are deficient in vitamin B1 could precipitate Wernicke-encephalopathy. Wernicke-encephalopathy is an acute, life-threatening neurological condition that has the classical triad symptoms of confusion, ophthalmoplegia. Ophthalmoplegia is weakness of an eye muscle. When a patient is asked to look left or right, an eye may lag behind. And ataxia. Ataxia is a degenerative disease of the nervous system. The symptoms mimic those of being drunk. These symptoms are caused by damage of the cerebellum, which is the part of the brain that is responsible for coordinated movement. Malnourished patients and alcoholics have a higher chance of being vitamin B1 deficient. Because of this, thiamine is always given before dextrose to ensure that Wernicke-encephalopathy doesn't develop, and that the glucose is properly being metabolized. Transketolase is an enzyme that uses thiamine pyrophosphate to function properly in the pentose phosphate pathway. To test if someone is deficient in B1, administering B1 and observing an increase in transketolase activity confirms B1 deficiency. Chronic alcoholism may lead to a vitamin B1 deficiency, which may cause any one of the following diseases. Korsakoff syndrome. It is amnestic, meaning acquired impairment to learn. Patients with Korsakoff syndrome experience confabulation. This is when a person's memory is unconsciously filled with fabricated, misinterpreted, and distorted information, and personality changes and permanent memory loss. Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is a combination of both. In this syndrome, there is damage to the medial dorsal nucleus of the thalamus and mammillary bodies. Dry BeriBeri affects the nerves in polyneuropathy, in which many of the peripheral nerves are damaged. This leads to symmetric muscle wasting. Wet BeriBeri affects the heart and circulatory system. The walls of the ventricles thins, called dilated cardiomyopathy, which leads to edema in tissues and ultimately cardiac failure. Replace I with 1 in BeriBeri, and you can remember that BeriBeri is caused by a B1 deficiency. That's all for this lesson of Step 1 Review. We'll see you in the next video.